Do you have boring wood? Do you wish it looked a little bit more like this? Well then stay tuned, because I'm going to show you how to take that boring old wood and make it funky. What's up guys? I'm Nick, and this is Build Dad Build. Today, we're going to be experimenting with Ceruse. You guys have probably seen this treatment before, but of course we're going to put a little Build Dad Build stank on it. So let me walk you through what we're going to do. I have some white oak. I also have some antique pine. I love this stuff and I don't have much of it left. The Ceruse technique works a little bit like Shishigaban or a little bit like a burnt wood finish. Normally this treatment is done on oak. That's why I have the oak here, but I do have this antique pine, which is just a really hard, solid pine. So I'm gonna try it on the pine as well. And while the Ceruse technique uses a wire brush to get into those soft cellulose grain areas, I have tried this before with a torch. I didn't see too much of a difference, but I did not have the secret weapon that I do now. I did not have my trusty restorer. Actually, I think I did have the restorer. What I did not have for the restorer was, I did not have the wire wheel attachment. And back then, this had a cord because I just recently got the cordless one, and this thing is bonkers. Since Restorer has been a long-time friend of the channel, I am sure that this is gonna get the job done. The idea is this: we're gonna take one board, we are going to chop it in two, we are going to burn one half, we are going to leave the other half as kind of our control group. We are going to hit it with the magic wire wheel and see which result we like best. So these boards are way too big for sample pieces. So I pulled out Senior Chop Chop. Just gonna cut these down to a little bit smaller size. Don't mind the dumpster. Your mom was here all weekend and she left her panties and I couldn't figure out any other way to get rid of them. Today, until his attention span runs out, I'm being assisted by my son, Ozzy. All right, little dude. We're resawing a board. You're gonna raise your blade up so it's just a little bit above it. The higher it is, the more dangerous it is. Safety Googlers, down and into the fence to keep your cut straight. Since you wanna keep your hands away from the blade, when I get to here, all right. Do the boring stuff first. This is just gonna be the wire brush. We've got some good texture going. Oak's grain isn't nearly as open, but yeah, it's getting some good texture there. Like when your mama was here. Woo. I kind of feel like we may not need that on the pine, but since this is an antique pine, this is not big box store pine. This is not soft, white, impotent pine. Yes. Oh. That's lovely. I don't know if we need to get in there. You can get a little bit extra tool marks in there if that's what you're looking for with the little brush. Just makes me want to try something. I got me the weenie wheel on the die grinder. So I don't know if this is going to show up well on camera. We have some good texture on both, but this stuff is deep. It's not as deep on the oak. Now, you're probably gonna get a more subtle effect with the oak than you will with the pine. But you know how it is with Build Dad Build. We don't do subtle. Now, what was I gonna do? Ah yes, put a little stank on it. So we're gonna light these ones on fire, if you didn't get that. That's what stank is. Stank. If it was any other day, I'd be coming at you with the little 2-inch killer here. But I just happen to be on the TikTok shop. And oh, if I don't have something a little special for you, I present to you the Art Flamme. See how this thing works. Oop, now I think we just turn it on, right? I mean, it doesn't put out as much as my prom date did on prom night, but it's a fun little toy. Maybe a little too shiny for my liking. I don't need the the fake gold, and it is all made out of plastic, and it's definitely no Grill Blazer. But for 40 bucks, or whatever this was, not a bad little party toy. What? You haven't been to one of my parties? Ooh, normally I give these longer to dry, but since they're small pieces and they're controllable, wet them down. Now we're just gonna do what we did on the last two. I will say this, having just wire brushed that other one, this removed so much faster. So the torch did manage to like get into that soft cellulose material better. So the question becomes, with this treatment, is deeper better? There's too many mom jokes to even start right there. So the wire brush doesn't seem to be removing a whole lot more. So the torch definitely kind of speeds that process up. Look at her. Isn't she pretty? Oak will never, I can't say never, because inevitably one of you assholes is gonna be like, well, what if you sand an inch off of it? But once you burn oak, the top layer is always gonna stay kind of dark like this. It never gets really light. But what if you took it out and re-sawed it? You know, like just sawed that top part off, then it would be the same. Then it'd be a light color again. That's what my comments sound like. Not the bad, not the good ones, the dumb ones. I like, if you're planning on making like an ignorant comment, and just know that I always read it in that voice, and I always go at the end before I respond, if I feel like it even needs a response. One step that I don't do with Shishugibon is I normally don't sand after, because I feel like the brush pretty much does it for you. However, since we used wire instead of nylon, I do want to come across just a little bit, make sure this is smoothed out. I just want to hit the topsies a little 220, and then we're going to come back and we're going to blow everything out and try to get as much moist discharge. How many of you are uncomfortable so far? We're going to try to get as much sawdust, or the bullshit, if you will, out before we sting. This is 220, and I have my sander turned all the way down to 1 because I just want to lightly smooth out that top, and I really don't want to get into the crevasses. What comes before part B? Glove up. For initial testing, I want to do them all the exact same way, and I've seen this done with stains, dyes, spray paint. So there's a lot of different ways to do this. What I'm going to use as my base is black leather dye. Reason being, I feel like whatever is the first coat that you're gonna put on there, you want that to penetrate. I feel like black dye is gonna give us the best chance for the best initial result. That way, we can choose how to proceed forward. So I got a little black leather dye. This is USMC black, Phoebing's leather dye. This is the same stuff that they make Kita wood dye out of, in case you've watched any of my old videos or you're familiar. All right, I think we're good. I will come back in a little bit just to make sure that this hasn't absorbed in and we have spots. Look at how good that looks, just black. I'm stoked for this piece. Like, you know, you're not supposed to have a favorite kid, but you guys know you all do. And out of these 4, that's my favorite piece of wood. We're gonna go ahead and put a seal coat on these and let them sit overnight. I'm using this gloss clear from Krylon. It's fine for samples. I don't know if I would use this on a finished piece. I would probably use something a little bit more robust, but this is going to do what it needs to do for this scenario. Aight? Light coat, because we want the ridges to remain. It's been about 12 hours. Again, these are samples, so I'm just not taking all the time to let everything cure. We're gonna come in with just a mildly abrasive, scrubby type brush. All I wanna do is make sure that our surfaces don't have any little bumps and mismatches on them. You know, you gotta hate them mismatches. you will see it getting a little duller, and that's just because you're scuffing it up. The glaze I'm using today is by Unicorn Spit, which is not totally ideal for this application because the sealer that I use is water-based. This is dry, so it should be a big deal, but when I go to seal again, as long as you have it flat, it's usually okay. But since Unicorn Spit is also water-based, if you use a water-based sealer, a lot of times it'll run because it'll reactivate the stuff once it dries. Again, these are samples, they're gonna be laying flat. We should be okay. All right, so we're just gonna run some spit across the top. It's probably not enough, but I'm just gonna pull it down. Just go ahead and give a little bit more love. And like I said, you're just trying to fill in those gaps. Then we're gonna set that one aside. I think the move is to get it on there and then come across. One nice thing about Unicorn Spit is when it starts to get chalky looking, you know it's drying. So none of these are chalky yet, but that's what you're kind of looking for as far as when you know it's okay to work with it again. So we get a little bit of time dry. Okay, it's been about 2 hours, and we're just gonna hit it with Scotch-Brite a little bit more. I'm gonna grab some gloves real quick. Build Dev, Build Nation, I have failed you. I did not glove up. Although the good thing about working with Unicorn Spit is, since it is water-based, it just washes it off. It's pretty harmless compared to a lot of stuff I work with. All right, we're just gonna take our Scotch-Brite pad and we're just gonna start going over it. Let's just try the water to take off just kind of the top. So maybe if you do wanna kind of activate some of that, just take it off. Oh yeah, that's better. Just try and keep my hand kind of flat when I do this so I'm not getting down into the grooves, because, you know, I see when dudes getting grooves, baby. I'm just trying to get in the groove, you know what I'm saying? That's the whole different story. That's looking pretty good. Let's just squirt, 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 squirt. Oh yes, that's already, dude. So I feel like I was going in a little too abrasive. I didn't realize Scotch-Brite pads the green ones are that abrasive. So I grabbed a white one, which is more like, that seems to be working better as far as taking off just a little bit. Definitely the white pad, because you can just like lightly go over it. And I mean lightly. I'm not pushing hardly at all. And you're just gonna take that top off. Could, if you wanted to, go in here and get an edit really close, but I don't think you need to, because depending on what you're doing, once this has a top coat on it, it's gonna get, these colors are gonna really pop and they're gonna get darker. So I'm not too concerned about the little imperfections, but this right now to me is looking like gold. Part of me really wants to drag just something wet across here really quick. That's probably a horrible idea. I'm gonna do it anyway. Cause we experimenting, baby. Experiment. All right, so just, oh, see, that's gold. That's fucking gold right there. I don't even know if you're gonna be able to see it on camera as well as you can see it, but when I go across there, I see the black pop, and what that tells me is that once this has clear coat on it, it's gonna pop. Oh, there it is. Look at that. So it looks kind of obnoxious, and it'll dry better, but it definitely gets darker. One thing I've learned is going 45s, aside from up or sideways, gets it in the crevasses better. Go 45s, right? Then you take your melamine sponge and you circles just to get it all in there. Make sure you got it all in. Take a shop towel or probably a paper towel, and you're just gonna wipe. This does so much better than trying any sort of buffing or sanding at this point. All right, and then you just, that's it. Like, and we're gonna let that sit. So first up we have the oak that was only brushed. I have to say I really like this result. I think we get a pretty good contrast on the wood. I feel like there's almost a little too much pink on here, like I didn't take enough off, but you kind of get the idea of what this would look like. Not too bad. Next up we have the antique pine. I gotta say, I'm not a huge fan of this result. But I do think part of that is that the wood patterning is not very interesting, to me at least. So I think the fact that we've got a lot of narrow grain and just a little bit of big grain kind of makes it not look as good as it could if it had a knot or some, I don't know, a little bit more of an open grain. I don't know. To me, it's just kind of missing something. I do feel, however, if this is a longer piece, that it would be kind of more eye appealing. I think it's just the fact that it's a short piece and it has that tight grain, but I would say this is probably my least favorite. Next up, we have the oak that was torched and brushed. And I gotta say, I really like this look. And as I look at it on camera, it really looks pinker than it does in person. Between the two of these guys, which one do you like better? I think I still like this guy. I just like the additional tool marks that are in there. I think it makes it just a little bit more interesting looking than the just brushed oak. It should come as no shock that this is my favorite piece. I mean, I told you it was gonna be my favorite piece. It's just, to me, it just looks just a little bit better. Now, you know, we always say on Build That Build is that the knots and things are what make it interesting. And while I say I like this result better than the non-torched one, the technique itself seemed to work about the same on the two pieces, aside from the fact that the grain patterning is deeper in this one. And so I think just from a visual standpoint, I like the way this one looks better because of the texture. Now from that, I did do some additional experimenting. So we have some results that look like this. The video was just gonna be too long. So definitely stay tuned for a part 2 where we go into some, I would say, pretty interesting results. So stay tuned for that one, guys. Thanks for playing, and always remember to guard your grill and knuckle up.